So what we're going to look at today is once again this continuation of a study of my first four strings and their particularly their arrangement of how they're put on the guitar and tuned, as opposed to the standard E9 tuning. You probably, if you just rake across the standard E9 tuning on the first 4 or 5 strings, you're going to sound something like this. Again. Okay. So that should sound very familiar to you. Let's just look at my first 4 strings, and I'm not going to engage any pedals at all. So, okay, so you'll notice a distinctive difference. Okay. Now, what this allows me to accomplish is several things that I want to play for you today. But let's just first look at the basic grip changes that this requires. First of all, where your first chord grip that you're going to predominantly use will be 3, 4, and 5. On this guitar, with my tuning, it's going to become 1, 3, and 5. So that is a spread where your strings are going to be, your fingers are going to be positioned like that on your first grip. Mine are spread out in like fashion. Okay, the next grip on your guitar would be 4, 5, and 6. That does change here, and that goes to 3, 5, and 6 on my guitar. And then the third grip, actually 8, 6, and 5, is actually the same as what you have on the E9 tuning. And then just to go ahead and mention, the fourth grip that you would be playing, 6, 8, and 10, is 6, 8, and 9 on my guitar, which is probably true of a lot of universal 12-string tunings. So pretty much what we're just looking at today, though, is this top 4 strings and the fact that they are tuned in symmetry. Really, if you look at it in musical notation, it just comes straight across. Now, to get a little more of a true E9 sound out of my first 4 strings, I will engage my right knee left, taking my C sharp note to an E flat. Okay, so now what that gives me, and this is why I could play this earlier with regard to your E9 sound, I can now show you it just comes from G sharp, F sharp, E, E flat, and B. So with my right knee left engaged, I have the very same strings you have, but they sound like this. Let me do it the other way. Okay. Now, let's just get into looking at a couple of things that this creates for me. First of all, without any pedals, I just play the basic grip that you would use, 3, 5, and 4. Look at the many things that are available to me without having to do any kind of crossover action. And if you just take like a simple banjo type run, you can really take off on some speed picking things like so. Here's a lick that I use quite often. I'll have to start on some lower strings just to get the momentum. Let me do that one more time for you. A little different variety there. And you can see the use of this 4 string really comes into play with my tuning. So it's a 6th note, but I also raise it up to a D with my A, basically my A pedal, because this is the pedal that I use to raise my 5th string from B to C sharp. So you get this action going on right here. And so with that 4th string, I literally use it just constantly in any kind of speed picking approach. And I not only use it there on my third pedal to go from C sharp to D, but I also then raise it on up to the E flat. And so that's why you get a lot of this action like this. I'll just play a few examples for you and just try to stay on the top 4 strings. Let's look at this. That's from kind of a pedals down position, we would call it. Let's look from a pedals open position. I'm playing in the key of E flat here. Let's see what we can accomplish there. Another thing I really like to do is a lot of these type licks right here. I'll just go to the key of A.